Welcome back. Today on Insider Med, what we're going to consider is the concept that there may be something more important than diet and exercise for health and a long life. Before we get started, remember, it's not medical advice. It's for perspective only. Well, I think the best way to address this topic is to consider a few examples. This is commonly done in the healthcare arena, where individuals give testimonials about certain products that they use, or diets, or exercise regimens, and then based on their appearance or experience, extrapolate that to being a very effective approach for others to achieve the same results. And in this circumstance, I'm going to use two individuals who are work together and can demonstrate some concepts that are important in this regard. The first is Warren Buffett, who's one of the richest people in the world and is the CEO of Berkshire Hathaway. Now, he is 92 years old, and achieving that age as a male in the United States, based on actuarial statistics, occurs in less than 1 in 100 males. Now, the question is, how is he able to continue to run a multi-billion-dollar corporation? And what I would advance to you is that there are 8 major health factors that can give you an idea about your health habits. The first is diet, and his is remarkably poor by his own admission. He indicates that he goes to McDonald's every morning and eats often processed meat. He has 4 full sugar Cokes a day, which far exceeds the recommended guidelines for refined sugar. In terms of exercise, he's not reported to do any workout regimens, but he's an active person. He's up, moving around, conducting business. In terms of obesity and body mass index, he may indeed be on the higher side, but we have no information on that. To my knowledge, he does not smoke or drink. Do not have direct information about his genetics or family history. In terms of environment and occupation, he doesn't have any major occupational risk like others who might be exposed to chemicals and the like. In terms of medical, he's very wealthy and has access to the best care, and that counts for your health and longevity. It is likely that he has the right guidance to undergo assessment of blood pressure, cholesterol, glucose, and recommended screening test. But finally, where I think he scores high on is social interactions, and especially purpose. He finds meaning in what he does. Most people would aspire to retire and be on a beach if they had the resources to do so, but yet he continues to go to work at the same job that he has for decades, even though he has more than enough resources to do anything and everything that he would like. The next person we want to consider is his right-hand lieutenant, Charlie Munger. And Charlie Munger is 99 years old and has some medical problems. The details are not clear, but it seems like he has difficulty ambulating. He has some visual problems as well. Actuarial studies suggest that less than 1 in 1,000 males in the United States will reach their 99th birthday. Again, he is active in Berkshire Hathaway and another major corporation as well. And so the question is, how does he fare on his health habits? And again, by his own description, his diet is poor. When asked what contributed to his longevity, he said eating peanut brittle. In terms of exercise, he reportedly has actively avoided it for many decades since he served in the Army long ago. In terms of obesity and BMI, hard to assess. By appearance, he may be on the high side there. In terms of tobacco and alcohol, we have no information, but he's not reported to engage in these activities. Genetics, environment, again, difficult to state, other than saying occupationally he's not exposed to hazardous chemicals. And again, medically, he too is a billionaire and has access to the best medical treatment. And this, again, can be a factor in his or anyone's health and longevity. But again, in terms of social and purpose, he scores high in terms of purpose because he too has the resources to do anything and everything that he wishes, but again continues to work and conduct business actively at the age of 99. So the question then, therefore, is, with these things in mind, what does that all mean? And I would advance, there's some things to consider that we can all learn from this. One, it is low odds for two unrelated individuals to work together and one be 92 and one be 99. Statistically, that would occur less than 1 in 100,000 pairings of individuals by chance. And this may understate that probability in the sense that these individuals not only reach this age, but they are functioning at a significant level, conducting business and mentally astute. Now, statistics don't give absolutes, and they don't allow us to make any conclusions other than to say there may be something here. They may have habits that promote their circumstances to reach this age. It may also be true that it may be genetics. But again, with two unrelated individuals, the odds of that occurring become lower. The next thing to consider is causation versus association and confounding variables. It's difficult to say in small numbers of cases or with one individual exactly what is the reason that they may have success in terms of their health or longevity. We may look at certain factors such as access to medical care or purpose, and these are indeed suggestive in their case. They are supported by science that shows that those factors can exert very significant impact on their health. And indeed, to the contrary, one could look at their diets and exercise and say eating poorly and not exercising could be associated with longevity. Based on a good deal of science, that's not likely the case, but one could imagine that if individuals were happy and got joy in eating these foods and joy in not exercising, theoretically it would not be impossible for that to be the case, but statistically and scientifically that's been tested to a great degree, and it turns out that diet and exercise, when they conform to current recommendations, can add anywhere from 3 to 14 years to one's life. And those years can be healthier as well. I would also submit that these kinds of observations show the limited value of testimonials, or that the evaluation of one person saying they do something and then concluding it's a good thing to do. Because again, in this circumstance, you could look at these individuals and say, maybe I should duplicate what they do. And some characteristics may be worth duplicating, others may be harmful to you, which statistically would include their dietary and exercise habits. The next one I want to mention is about surrogate endpoints. And that is that individuals will look at one endpoint and then try and extrapolate that to an outcome. So in this circumstance, these individuals have reached the age. They are at the endpoint one wants to look at. Commonly, when people are trying to sell you supplements or products, they'll say, I took this supplement and I look younger, but they're still 40 years old. That's interesting, but it doesn't prove anything. Likewise, they'll look at and say, I did some specialized blood test or biologic age test, of which the predictive value is limited or unknown. And those can lead to very unstable conclusions. So if you want to look at an endpoint, it's best to look directly at that endpoint. So if you want to see what determines the age individuals live at, look at their age. If you want to see about health, look at health. If you want to see about their appearance and body build, then you want to look at those as their endpoint. All of these things come to support the importance of scientific method, because science looks at things statistically and says, yes, these individual cases say things are possible, but what is the reality? What is the causative factor here? What's the bystander? What is the probability that individuals will benefit? Is it 1 in 10? Is it 1 in 50? Or is it 90% of individuals who do these steps, even once you figure out what the right steps are, that can benefit? And that's what science and medicine and the research studies demonstrate. Finally, I would submit they do suggest a significant role for purpose in one's life, because that is a unifying feature between these two individuals, and other studies clearly demonstrate both health benefits with reduced cardiovascular disease, improved maintenance of cognitive function, which these individuals demonstrate, and a longer lifespan for individuals who find a purpose. That is, they have a reason to wake up every day. They find meaning in their life and want to be here. So what are the take-home messages? Significantly improving your health does not necessarily mean restrictive diets, complex exercise regimens, or taking supplements. Finding a purpose and meaning in your life is an important health and longevity determinant. And finally, be careful about testimonials, or N equals 1, as it's quotedly called, for any variable, whether it's relevant to purpose, diet, exercise, supplements, or otherwise. It cuts all ways. Individual, isolated circumstances definitely suggest that it's worthy of study, but they preclude conclusions until those scientific studies are done. Well, that's it for this time. Until next time, this is Insider Med.